Okay, welcome everybody. Thank you for joining us. It's the 12th of August, a beautiful sunny day after the crazy weather that we had through the night. I'm heading off to bed after this because I didn't sleep very well last night at all. Thank you all for joining though. Tonight's class we're going to have a talk about essential oils and relaxation and the mind and gut connection. As I said, it's going to be quite kind of less formal than a presentation, so please feel free to to add in anything at any point. Just going to move my notes for. I don't even have like a formal kind of introduction or anything.
Well, I could start actually, Kirsty, with my bit. It probably precedes what you're going to talk about anyway,
Cool,
if that works for you.
Sure.
Yeah, so I wanted to kind of start with the mind-gut connection in terms of, well, how is it connected? So I think when we think about it, there's different ways that the mind and the gut, even though they're physically they're so far away from one another, they're actually quite intricately connected in the body. So if we think about the connection, first of all, physically, the brain, the mind, and the digestive system, the gut, are connected through the vagus nerve. So part of the nervous system that comes right down from the brain into the gut, the vagus nerve, is the kind of communication highway, so to speak, between the gut and the brain. And the communication is really interesting because although it is two-way, it's not equally two-way. And we actually have more communication going up from the gut than we do coming down from the brain. So it's a kind of 80-20 split. So we've got 80% of the communication coming up from the gut, 20% going down the way. And, oh, here she comes. Excellent. You're back. Yay. So we were just sitting there. Oh, I think you're a bit freezing a little bit. So yeah, we're just saying with that 80-20 split with the communication up and down, the gut microbiome, so all of those bacteria, yeasts, viruses, molds, parasites, they're actually communicating with our brain up through the vagus nerve all the time. So it's really quite fascinating, the connection with the brain, our mind, and the gut in a physical capacity. And then we have to think, well, what's the other mode of communication? If it's not nervous system, so the vagus nerve, from up to the brain and down again, how else does the body communicate from the gut to the brain? And that's our circulation system. So through the blood, we are absorbing food through the gut lining into the circulatory system, and then that's flowing around the body, and part of the body that circulation is feeding is the brain. So you've got all of your hormones, your essential fatty acids, inflammation factors, other communication factors, lovely nutrients, so your oxygen, your antioxidants, and the hormones as well are all different. So you get your sex hormones, so your estrogen, your testosterone, for example, your stress hormones as well, cortisol, adrenaline, sleep factors, your melatonin, and mood hormones. So our happy hormone serotonin is predominantly made in the gut, and it travels to the brain. And then we've also got, you get the power. Fabulous, you're back, Kirsty. So yeah, then you've got the blood sugar management factors. It's okay, it's okay. So yeah, your blood sugar management factors such as your insulin and your glucagon. So really quite fascinating in terms of what what the connection physically only between the gut and the mind are. And then we're connected emotionally, aren't we? We talk about that gut feeling, don't we? Or we're nervous and we get like butterflies, or we're stressed out and we get an upset tummy, like we get a bout of diarrhea. So our gut is intricately attached to our emotional state, which is really fascinating. Oh, are you saying something, Kirsty? I can't, it's not coming through for me.
Sorry, no, I can't even see anybody.
Oh, no. Nervous system. So when we're in a stressed state, in that fight or flight or freeze state, we are using our sympathetic nervous system, and that's kind of like that jangly nerves. It actually shuts down our gut function because it constricts all of the blood vessels. When we're using our sympathetic nervous system, it shuts down the blood vessels, it constricts them, so all of our blood actually goes to our limbs. So it stops the gut function. We're not able to digest our food. Our immune system, which is based in our gut, stops functioning, and all that blood and all those nutrients are heading to the muscles because we're running away from the saber-toothed tiger at that point. So we can flip that on its head, and Kirsty's going to talk a little bit about that too, but we can get ourselves from that sympathetic nervous system function, we can flip it to rest and digest. So the parasympathetic nervous system, and that taps into this connection between the mind and the gut and allows us to come back out of a stressed state and into a calm and relaxed state. So I'll let Kirsty pick up here, because I know she's got a few things that she wants to talk about that very much tap into that parasympathetic nervous system function.
Thank you. I haven't a clue really what you're talking about. So. Okay. Yeah, so I just wanted to kind of touch on stress, and obviously stress has a massive impact on our overall health and our nervous system, our immune system. When we're very, very stressed, it really lowers our immune system. I just wanted to touch on the importance kind of breath work, and how this, the effects that it can have. Something that I've come across quite often is deep belly breathing. It's one of the most effective ways to calm the brain, and also the gut. Quite often our gut can be thought of as a kind of mirror image of our face. So for example, when we get angry, it shows we notice visible signs in our face, maybe frown or get a little bit red or whatever. But also when we get angry, it shows in our guts too. It kind of sends our stomach into spasm, and like quite often we feel maybe perhaps like our stomach's kind of in knots, or you might feel a little bit anxious, and like all these kind of feelings can trigger very different responses. So you might end up throwing up or having to run to the toilet, and deep belly breathing can really help to kind of overcome all this and calm it all down. It actually helps, it stimulates the diaphragm, which is controlled by something called the phrenic nerves, and these have a kind of vital role in breathing, and are actually the nerves that are responsible for us having the hiccups, which I discovered on doing research, which quite fascinated about. So deep belly breathing has quite a few kind of health benefits. It's probably something that we tend not to do nowadays. I feel nowadays a lot of people are very worried about their body image and how we look. There's so much pressure on people, I feel, to look your best. So we kind of walk about, holding our tummies in, which can actually have a negative impact. So when we're deep belly breathing, you're breathing in through your nose and really focusing on filling our lungs up. And by holding our tummies in, and we're tensing our tummy muscles, it can actually cause our breathing to become very, very shallow, which can actually, it can increase tension and anxiety, and we're probably all quite aware that if we have been feeling anxious, you know, one of the first signs for me anyway is my breathing. I always notice my breathing becomes very, very shallow because, you know, you're not really concentrating, focusing on breathing properly. So I've put in my notes, take a wee tip from Princess Anna in Frozen and just let it go. Yeah, like holding our tummy in. I mean, it's not good for us anyway, is it? It's not unnatural, but you know, we're also aware of, you know, don't want our tummies hanging out or anything. But yeah, we're all. I feel there's a lot of pressure on people, and I think social media has quite a lot to do with that. But that's a whole other thing. Yeah, I don't know why I carry on, or do you want to add?
No, keep going. Yeah.
So quite often I like to use mindfulness and gratitude practices to help kind of combat and relieve stress, inattention or anxiety. And I use I have this book here which is called Emotions and Essential Oils, and this is an amazing book if you're working through any kind of stress or any emotional issues. It has a little kind of index in the back, so you can actually look up. So, for example, I've opened the page, and the first thing that I've noticed is rage. That's how I'm feeling about my internet at the moment. So rage, there's cardamom, thyme, purify and turmeric. So if we go to cardamom, it tells you how you can use, how this oil relates to this kind of feeling, the negative emotions that you might experience, and just how you can use the oil. So it's really, really, really helpful. So yeah, I like to use that. And as I said, my mindfulness and gratitude, they really help kind of just take a wee bit of time out from your daily the thoughts that just go through your head on a daily basis and hourly or minute basis kind of thing. And by focusing on, so with mindfulness, I used to do it when I took my dog for a walk at lunchtime. So I would focus on like the way that the ground feels under my foot as I'm walking, or I focus on the colours that I can see, what I can smell, what I can hear. And it's amazing the difference that it makes, you know, just taking time away from all those thoughts that are usually whizzing through your head. Gratitude. So apparently this is called habit stacking, where you're using one habit to create a new habit, and then, you know, once you've established that, then I used to use that to do my gratitude as well. So I used to walk around the park. I feel that the spoken word is it holds more weight than thoughts, doesn't it? For me anyway, my thoughts would get lost and jumbled up with everything else. So I would practice my gratitude out loud, you know, and I would thank the universe for, you know, for another day, because, you know, not everybody has that luxury. So always grateful to have another day. But, you know, I would try and focus on 3 things, and it just has to be little things as well. It doesn't need to be massive, you know, and there are some days where some days it's harder to find things to be grateful for. There's always something, but you just have to dig that little bit deeper. I've recently started writing a gratitude journal before I go to bed. I don't do it every night. I'm still trying to work on that habit, but I do find that doing a gratitude journal before bed, you know, it's a nice feeling to experience before you go to sleep. It really helps kind of promote calm and a kind of peacefulness, I suppose. And it also helps to have a book to reflect back on the days that you know, you maybe are having to dig a little bit deeper, you can just look back through your book and be like, oh yeah, I do actually have a lot to be grateful for. Another little tip that I've learned recently to help with promoting calm and relaxation is something called the power of the pause ritual, and it was developed by Dr. Maritza Snyder, who is a women's kind of health specialist. She did a presentation at the doTERRA convention in May earlier this year, where she was talking about using essential oils and developing a kind of protocol, what oils to use at what point in the day. And she has come up with power of the pause ritual, which I have tried a few times, and it's amazing. It's a good habit to get into. So she talks about choosing your favourite essential oil. So you put a wee drop on your hand, rub your hands together, and then inhale deeply for 5 seconds, then exhale and hold for 5. And you would do this for maybe 5 to 10 breaths of some deep belly breathing, and it just helps to kind of reset everything. Any kind of stress that you're experiencing, it just all kind of melts away. She recommends setting a reminder on your phone every hour. For me, I felt that was a little bit too much, because, you know, when you're busy throughout the day, like doing something every hour, it just felt a little bit much. So I set a reminder on my phone for every 2 hours, and I absolutely felt a massive difference, you know. So sometimes I didn't feel like I needed it, but I still did it anyway. But if there are days where the stress is building and building and building, you know, just taking like a few minutes out from everything that's going on and just using the breath is so powerful, so powerful. Will I carry on? Are you okay?
Yeah. Yeah, I've definitely got some notes about, like, I do have a gratitude practice as well, and I find it really helpful. I use it as well at the beginning of the day sometimes, just my head's not in the game, or I've not slept well, like I didn't sleep well last night because of the thunderstorm. So this morning it was like, oh, I'm really groggy and I feel rubbish. And actually just bringing it back to, well, do you know what, it was a really cool thunderstorm, and okay, it kept me up a little bit later than I would have wanted to, but I haven't experienced one like that in a very long time. And actually trying to be grateful for the thunderstorm that was preventing me going to sleep. So yeah, I find gratitude practices really, really helpful. And you touched upon kind of love and kindness, and I know that there's a whole arm of meditation that's loving, what they call loving kindness meditation as well, that's beautiful for connecting back to self and really tapping into that relaxed, calm, internal environment by sending yourself some love and being kind to yourself, because quite often we are not. We are our harshest critics, and we talk to ourselves very, very poorly. Things that we would never say to anybody else out loud, but we tell them to ourselves. So it's a beautiful way also to get that practice in place and to start calming the nervous system down, connecting back to ourselves and our core values and who we are as a being, as a person, and yeah, being really, really loving and kind towards ourselves in that moment. Because I think we forget too that our biggest relationship with anybody in life is the one that we have with ourselves. And we stress ourselves out. Like, I don't know about anybody else, but quite often I'll be like, yeah, I can do this and I can do that, and then I go, oh my gosh, I've like overloaded myself with things to do, and I'm stressed and the nerves are going and my gut's all funny and my brain's all jangly. Like, it's all happening. And I have to remember that actually sometimes I need to just say, no, I'm going to take some time for me. It's for my health, for nourishing my soul, my relationship with myself, bringing everything back down to that beautiful calm state. So I quite often use my yoga for that and do like a long meditation at the end of it as part of relaxation. Do some mental gratitude, or as Kirsty was saying, some journaling and actually writing it out or saying it out loud. Don't know if anyone's ever tried doing gratitude about yourself to yourself in a mirror. You're like, you're looking straight back at yourself. It's like, I love you. You're a good person. And you're like, whoa. That's raw. That is, yeah. That's like taking it to another level. But it's so important to take that time for yourself to bring everything back down. And as Kirsty says, even just taking that time to take a pause, and essential oils are a beautiful way to do that, and scent is a wonderful way to engage in that, and that mindful practice of breathing in, filling the lungs, getting into that parasympathetic nervous system function, and just calming everything down. For me, lavender is my go-to. And I don't know if anyone else has had an experience like this, but when I'm not stressed, I could leave lavender oil. I'm not bothered by it. It's like, yeah, okay, it smells nice, but when I'm stressed, lavender oil is like catnip. I feel like I want to bathe in it. Like, I love the smell. I can't get enough of it. So yeah, I always know, and I have a pillow spray, and I've got a temple balm that has lavender in it. And I always know that when I'm really, really stressed, I literally want to cover myself in both and like spray my entire bedroom, because it's like catnip. I just want to rub myself in it.
Isn't it funny how intuitive our bodies actually are?
Mm-hmm.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
I like the lavender as well. Often I'll go out in the garden and I've got lavender growing. And some days I want just to touch it and get the smell from it. And I've noticed my husband doing exactly the same thing. I don't know for what reason. I'm thinking, why is he doing that? But obviously he likes lavender as well, and maybe I've stressed him, so it's maybe to take a moment to himself. But I find that with lots of flowers in the garden, I think over the time where we were all locked down, and there was a lot of stress, and although I'm retired, there still was a level of stress about being inside all the time, probably not as much as people who were trying to work, etc., but there was still that level of stress. And I would find myself going out to the garden and see what was flowering, and I've got beautiful rose that I bought this year that's scented, and so it was really nice just to go out and take a sniff of that. So I think sometimes the natural world has a lot to give us, you know, and I know that's where the oils come from, but you can also do it without the oils. You can just do it with what you've got in your garden.
Definitely makes such a difference, doesn't it? Mm-hmm. Something I've been very grateful for these last few months is having a garden.
Yeah, me too. Wouldn't have survived, I don't think, without a garden.
No. I just might pop in just now, mention some oils for relaxation. So when we're choosing oils, thinking about relaxation, or trying to promote calm, to whether that be the mind or the body, quite often we find ourselves drawn to kind of tree or flower oils. Tree oils are very grounding, and flower oils are well known to support us emotionally. And a couple of the blends that I'm going to mention are full of tree and flower oils. I have just picked just a few because there's so many. I'd be here all night. And so I've just picked my favourites. So first up is a blend called Balance. This is also known as the grounding blend. This is a blend of tree and flower oil. So there's spruce, wholewood, frankincense, blue tansy, blue chamomile, osmanthus, and this one actually has fractionated coconut oil in it already, which means that it's safe to use topically. Normally you would have to dilute with a carrier oil to use oils on your skin, but this already has it in it, so it's ready to use. It's such a lovely oil I like to use it on my feet, on the soles of my feet to start the day with, or apply it to my pulse points throughout the day, the back of my neck to keep me grounded. But even just having a wee sniff from the bottle sometimes just, and I think as well you start to, for me, you start to associate a smell with what it's doing as well, don't you? You know, so I have my oils for bedtime, and quite often, you know, like bergamot, if I smell that during the day, it instantly makes me think of going to my bed. I don't know if that's a good thing or not when, you know, you're trying to be busy and but yeah, balance definitely helps to kind of chill me out a bit. And next is Serenity. Serenity comes in an oil and soft gel. So the oil blend contains lavender, cedarwood, wholewood, ylang ylang, marjoram, Roman chamomile, vetiver, vanilla bean absolute, and Hawaiian sandalwood. This is actually also known as a restful blend, and another beautiful blend of oils which help to promote calm and relaxation. This is nice to have in a diffuser before bedtime. It can be used throughout the day as well, because I mean, any oil that promotes calm can be used throughout the day. It's just, these are just nice ways to use them before bed to kind of get your mind ready for it's going to calm your mind and help promote a peaceful night's sleep, hopefully. So as I was saying, you pop them in your diffuser. You could perhaps have a wee bath. You can pop oils in your bath, but I always recommend using not essential oils, Epsom salts. So if you mix oils in with your Epsom salts and then put them in the bath, so that because if you just put the oil in your bath, it's just going to sit on the water. It's not going to be diluted with anything. So then it's going to be straight on your skin. It's not going to have diluted or mixed in with anything. So pop a couple of drops, 2 or 3 drops in with your Epsom salts, give them a wee mix, and add them into your bath that way. Or you can make up a little spray in a wee bottle, just with some water, and you can just squish it, like you were saying, Claire. You've got your wee lavender pill spray, and you can apply it topically, so you can apply it to soles of your feet, pulse points, back of your neck. It also comes in soft gels, which I actually have here. Usually I start looking about for things and I'm like, I don't have that next to me, but I have the soft gels next to the computer, because I take them about half an hour before I go to bed, and I'm always sitting here in the evening. So they're just that size, so they're quite little, just little soft gels. These are adapted because the oil you couldn't take internally, but the soft gels you can. So these contain lavender, lemon balm, passion flower, chamomile, and L-theanine, which is an amino acid found in green tea, and it's known for its calming effects on the nervous system. And these can really help promote calm without causing drowsiness. And somebody on my team the other day just told me that she actually uses them during the day. I haven't tried using them during the day, and I wasn't sure the kind of effect that they would have on you. I mean, they don't cause drowsiness. They really just promote calm, and I notice a massive difference in my sleep and how I feel in the morning. But I just wasn't sure how they would make you feel during the day. But she said, like, just it's the same kind of thing. Just helps kind of calm any like nervous, anxious feelings. So yeah, I highly recommend these, and I noticed a huge difference.
I've used them as well. I've used them for about 2 months, maybe 3 months now. And last night I've started just taking, I was taking, to begin with I took 1 a night, and then I went on to 2 a night because I didn't think I was getting into a routine with the 1 a night. So I was taking 2 a night, and they've definitely helped. But I've just gone, I thought, right, I'm going to start going back to maybe like 1 a night and see how I get on. So last night I took one a night, but then obviously last night was a bit unusual anyway because we had all the thunder and lightning. So that was a bit, but I did sleep. I mean, like, I was waking up before about every like 2 hours, every 2 hours. The other night I think I had something like 5 hours sleep, and that is totally unheard of for me. If I hadn't been on them, I wouldn't have. But I listened back to that Zoom call, and I did hear them saying about the using them during the day, but I don't know. I might try it. Give it a bash.
I think I mean, as I said, they're not going to cause drowsiness. So
No.
I mean, if you are feeling, it's obviously a personal preference. There's obviously oils that you can use. But yeah, I think I will give it a wee try and see.
I'll let you know if I'm slumped over in my desk.
Sleeping on the job.
If I'm sleeping on the job.
Office zen.
Yes.
I'm surprised they've never actually said, because if I'm on any calls, I've got my diffuser behind me, and it's like coloured, so it's like 1 minute it's pink, the next minute it's blue, and I'm sitting here like enjoying the different ones that I'm putting in it.
Yeah.
So
so there's also cedar wood, which is another tree oil. So this is obviously very grounding and very calming. Cedar wood is very supportive to the nervous system and relieves restless legs. I have a client who had terrible problems with restless legs and had been on medication for a very long time for her restless legs, and by using cedar wood she's been able to stop taking the medication, which is just incredible. She's absolutely delighted.
Brilliant.
It has sedatory properties as well, so again it's very grounding and calming. It's one of my favourite oils for sleep, for bedtime. So I like to, what do I do with it? Put some, I usually have it, this week I've been having it in the diffuser with some bergamot, and I also like to have a couple of drops of coconut oil in my hands, and then some bergamot, cedar wood, apply to the soles of my feet, back of my neck, pulse points, just kind of rub it everywhere. Just love to smell it, and just a couple of nice deep inhales as well, and then on my pillow as well, just to rub off the excess, whatever's left on my hands. And I notice a massive difference doing that with my sleep as well. I feel like I wake up in the morning and I'm like, wow. You know, I don't remember waking up at all. I don't usually have problems with sleep. I think my only problem is getting enough sleep, because I just don't go to my bed early enough. But hopefully once Ollie's at school, that's going to change, because I'll be able to work during the day rather than in the evenings. But I definitely notice a massive difference using oils at bedtime. They really do help. Like you were saying, Alison, you know, like the smell, the aroma of something, it has such a massive impact. Also, there's copaiba. Copaiba is an amazing oil which can help support and calm our nervous system. It's doTERRA's alternative to a CBD oil. So copaiba actually has the highest known concentration of beta-caryophyllene in an essential oil. So this is a sesquiterpene, which, so these are compounds, so essential oils are made up of different compounds, and beta-caryophyllene is something that's found in a few different essential oils, but in copaiba, it's made up of about 55% of this, which is why it has such a massive impact on us. I think the next highest level in an essential oil is black pepper, and I think that's maybe only about 20 to 25%. So it's quite, it's very powerful. So copaiba can help to promote our immune system, cardiovascular and digestive system, and our nervous system, as I said. It can help keep us grounded and calm anxiety and balance emotions. It can really help improve the appearance of our skin. And it also supports a healthy inflammatory response as well. I'm not going to go into all the details of the science and how it works with our CB2 receptors that are through our body, but if you would like to know more, I can send some further details. And copaiba is actually, it works as an accelerant, so any oil that you use it with, it just helps to kind of speed up absorption and the effects of that oil. So apply copaiba first and then layer your other oils on top. And lastly, peppermint. Peppermint is not necessarily a calming oil as such. In fact, it's quite energizing, but it's a good oil to support our nervous system. It can really help to soothe and strengthen any kind of damaged nerves. So you can dilute it and apply maybe 1 to 3 drops on the location, so you know wherever the issues are, or you can put it up and down your spine, the back of your neck, or reflex points on your hands and feet, or your ears as well, because we have reflex points on our ears. You could add some drops to fractionate coconut oil and massage into the area of concern, or you could add it to a nice warm bath as well for a kind of cooling sensory experience. And that's it. Excuse me, I stopped there because I thought if I don't bring it in, I will be here all night. Like you know, there's so many oils to choose from. It's so hard.
There is, but definitely.
Yeah, relaxation is a massive topic when it comes to using essential oils. Have you got?
No, I was just going to say, does anyone want to practice some deep belly breathing? Does anyone want to do a little deep belly breathing exercise?
Yeah.
That sound good? Okay. So we're just going to we're all seated, aren't we? So if we just uncross arms and legs, make sure that our feet the soles are flat on the floor if possible. Probably have the feet about hip width apart so they're not jammed up next to one another, and just let the arms relax, whether the hands want to sit on the thighs or in the lap, palms up, palms down, doesn't matter. And just gently close the eyes down. We're just bringing that awareness inside, pulling it in from the outside environment, bringing it inwards. I want you to bring your awareness, first of all, to your nostrils. So this is going to be the point that we feel the air coming in and out of the lungs. It's going to enter through the nostrils into the body. And then we're just going to mentally travel with the air from the nostrils through the sinuses and the nasal passages of the face, down through the throat. And just be aware of the collarbones, so the top of the chest. And that's when we were talking about the shallow breath earlier. That's where we tend to breathe when we have shallow breathing. So really at the top of the lungs, the top of the chest, right in that collarbone region. Then we're going to go down a little bit further to the ribs. And when we do the breathing exercise in a moment, you will feel those ribs starting to move a bit more and expand. And then bringing that awareness down, and we're going to settle the awareness at the belly button. The belly button's really key for deep belly breathing. So I invite you to take a deep breath in, and on that inhale, we're going to send the belly button out. You can actively push it out with the muscles away from the body. So basically, we're going to make that massive belly If you think of a baby when it breathes, its whole chest cavity and the belly expands, and you get this massive movement on that inhale. So every inhale, I want you to push the belly button out away from the spine as far as it will go. And then on the exhale, we're going to pull the belly button in actively, so pulling it back the way towards the spine. So that's going to allow us to fill the lungs fully and then fully empty them again. So we take a gentle inhale through the nostrils, through the nose, sending that belly button forwards and away from us, filling the lungs, and really feel and follow the air right down to the bottom of the lungs, right down to that belly button, and then feel and allow the ribs either side of the body to expand. And then allow the shoulders just to be really relaxed, so that the top of that chest, those collarbones, are not really moving. And then pulling, drawing that belly button in on the exhale. Really think of it like bellows, that you're pushing that air all the way out, right from the bottom of the lungs, up through past the ribs, past the collarbones, up through the throat, and out the nostrils again. Inhale, sending that belly button away. Exhale, drawing the belly button in towards the spine. And just allowing the awareness to really follow that breath. Really allowing the lungs to fill fully, feeling the ribs spread wide when the lungs are full. You might find that your breath starts to elongate, so you end up having a longer inhale and a longer exhale. Just go with it if that's what your body says it needs. Allow it just to start slowing things down. And keeping those shoulders nice and relaxed. So on our next inhale, we're going to send that belly button away, bringing that breath all the way into the lungs, filling them up. And then we're going to really slowly, consciously slow down that exhale. So we're going to try and make it twice as long, roughly, as what your inhale was. Really slow down the exhale. This again allows you to switch from that fight and flight to rest and digest. Inhaling, sending the belly button away, and then slowly, slowly exhaling, drawing that belly button in really slowly. And if you want, you can add a count to that. So say you're breathing in and it takes you to the count of 4 to fill up those lungs fully. You could maybe count to 6, or if you're doubling it, count to 8 on the exhale. Just really slow things down. I wouldn't try and force that exhale to be extra long if you're struggling to get it to twice the length of the inhale. So we're mindfully listening to the body. So even if all you're doing is getting a count 1 more than your inhale, that's absolutely brilliant. So you take 1 more deep inhale and exhale, elongating that outward breath. Then sticking with our belly breathing, we're going to take a deep inhale in, sending that belly button away. And this time we're going to open the mouth, and on the exhale, we're going to sigh out the breath. Inhale again, filling that belly, filling those ribs, and sighing out the exhale. And last time, deep inhale in, sighing out the exhale. And then we're going to bring the palms of the hands together and we're just going to start rubbing them. We're going to create a little bit of heat here. You could just imagine if you've got some beautiful essential oil in your palm right now, warming it up. We're just going to cup the hands over the eyes gently. And we're going to spread the fingers slowly. Blink the eyes softly open, letting the light back in. And coming back into the room. How does everyone feel?
Sleepy.
Sleepy. I've got my patio doors open. I kept thinking, God, I hope somebody comes in. I kept thinking, I hope there's no cats coming in. But there's not. We've got no visitors.
That was lovely. Thank you.
You're so welcome. It's such an easy exercise. Just taking the awareness to the belly button and just sending it out, bringing it back in, sending it out, bringing it back in. It's such a beautiful flowing movement. You could do that while you're sat at your desk. You can do that while you're doing the dishes. You could do it in the supermarket queue. You really can do it anywhere. Brilliant technique.
Thank you.
Nice.
Does anyone have any questions or anything that they want to ask?
I did, but I do know that relaxing breath. I've forgotten what it was. It was just, well, I just was going to say, I have quite a few essential oils in the house, and I've had them, some of them, quite a long time. But it's not the first thing I always think to go to. I think the only time I use my lavender is I drop it in with my washing, because my soap that I use, Castile soap, has no scent at all. And having a little bit lavender in, especially with the bed linen, is quite nice. So I only use it there. I never think really to use it on myself. I'll have to think more about using it on myself.
Get creative.
Yeah, I think so. I think I definitely have to start using. I've used some frankincense like in my moisturizer before. But yeah, I need to think about using it a bit more.
Frankincense. Frankincense, I remember the first time that I smelled it, I felt it was quite a strange smell. It wasn't, I don't know what I expected it to be like, but certainly it wasn't wise. But now it's one of my favourite oils.
Really? I find the smell a bit off-putting still. I'm not that keen on it, but I do use it in my moisturisers sometimes, not all the time, just occasionally.
I think sometimes as well, it's, as we were saying earlier, it's what our bodies are needing as well, perhaps.
True. But I like lavender. Lavender's lovely. And if you want something zingy, lemon's nice. I've got a lemon one too, and it's really zingy for waking you up in the morning. It's
definitely.
Nice. Yeah. I must get around to using more of them. Definitely.
Do you have a diffuser?
I don't actually. I bought everybody else one. I bought my other daughter one. Well, actually, I didn't buy it for her. I bought it for me. And then she said, "Oh, I'm not sleeping very well." I said, "Right, take the diffuser and put lavender in it or something." So she got that away with it. I don't think I bought yours, Claire. I think you bought your own one. But yeah, I need to get another one and use it.
Although
yeah, I don't know what my husband might think about having it on in the house, because he has to put up with it as well, I suppose.
Well, if he likes the lavender outside, I'm sure you wouldn't mind it being inside.
No, as long as it was lavender, I'd be quite happy with that as well. It's quite nice. But yes, I think I need to get one.
Lavender and lemon's a really nice combination as well.
Is it?
Yeah.
Let's try that actually.
Yeah.
Calming, but uplifting,
Yeah, the only doTERRA oil I have is the clove oil.
Oh, okay.
Not really used much of it. It was really for my husband when he had a tooth problem,
It's very helpful.
Yeah. Are there any other things you can use clove oil for?
Clove is a natural, so it's very high in antioxidants.
Right.
It's probably, I think, one of the highest. It rates very, very high on the ORAC scale, which is I can't remember what the letters stand for, but it's a scale that measures the antioxidants in food, and clove is one of the highest. So it provides us with a good source of antioxidants. It's very powerful cleanser as well, antibacterial. What else? Let me just check my book.
Could I use it in cooking? You know, if I was doing a ham or something, instead of putting
absolutely.
cloves in, could I use a small amount of it on?
Yeah. So when you're using oils in cooking, I always recommend using like a little cocktail stick to introduce them that way. Especially initially, I think the first time I used oregano is very, very strong, as is clove though. So, but the first time I used oregano, it was all I could taste, and it was only one drop. So, definitely use a little cocktail stick, and you can just obviously build it up. It's so much easier, obviously, to build it up that way than to put a whole drop in, and that's all you might taste.
Okay.
I just having a. So it's analgesic, antibacterial, antifungal, anti-infectious. It's got lots of amazing properties. Obviously, mainly used for oral health. What else?
Can you use it on your skin as well? You know, if you put it into a carrier oil, can you use it on your skin too?
You could, but clove is one of the hot oils. So there's 5 hot oils. There's clove, cinnamon, cassia, thyme, and oregano. So these definitely have to be diluted and diluted well to use on your skin.
Okay.
So like some oils, like most oils, you probably like a 1-to-1 dilution, but for clove, I would say at least a 1 to 3 or 5 drops of carrier oil.
Okay.
Because it is hot.
It is, right. Can you recommend anything? I use arnica for bruising, but can you recommend an oil that might be useful? Sorry, I'm asking you all these questions.
No, it's fine. It's fine. It's good. It gets the grey matter working. Does Heather do something called Correct X, which is like it comes in a little tube. It's like a little ointment, and it has what's in it? It's got, I think it's frankincense, helichrysum, cedarwood, melaleuca, and lavender.
All right. Okay.
I could quickly just have a look. Let me just get this up.
I think, is that the one that Tara said that she used because she had?
Yeah, I haven't actually watched that video yet, but I know she'd done one on it. But this is, so the oils that are in this are all obviously very healing and very cleansing. So melaleuca is a great antiviral, antifungal, and it can help with any kind of skin issues. What are they called? Cold sores.
Cold sores, yeah.
Yes, frankincense, helichrysum. I got all right. Well done.
Oh, well done.
Pat me back. Yeah, so it helps with lots of different kinds of skin irritations. It could help with bruising as well. I've used it on Ollie. What did he do? I can't remember, but he banged his head or side of his face off something, and it was a proper thud. And I thought, oh my god, like he's gonna. I think he's a natural little miracle healer anyway, because a couple of years ago he came off our bed. Him and his cousin had been jumping on our bed, and he caught his eye on the right in the corner on the bedside cabinet, and it was bleeding, so I had to go to the hospital. But like he healed so well from that. But Correct X is definitely
Correct X, right?
Yeah. Off the top of my head, that's what I would.
Right, okay. It's just I'm attending the physio just now, and he tends to leave me bruised quite badly. So I've used arnica, but it can take quite a while to get rid of the bruising, and I'm also taking it internally as well, but it's just a bit slow, and I thought, I wonder if there's anything else out there I can use.
I will have a wee look, and if I find anything else, I can I'll let you know, and I can pass it on to Claire.
Oh, that's lovely. Thank you so much.
No problem. Because there's bound to be other things.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. I suppose anything that is healing to the skin, but yeah, I'll definitely have a look.
Oh, super. Thank you.
No problem. It's good to get my brain working.
Especially at this time of night. When it really just wants to go to bed.
My brain's been sleeping all day.
Wow. Yeah.
Any other questions?
No, I think I've exhausted my questions for the minute.
Perfect.
Thank you.
See, I know the other week there we were speaking about like the toothpaste or like the actual. I've forgotten. My head's mince. Was it paste? Not paste.
No, the powder.
Powder. Yeah, I need to get my pee.
Yeah. So I'm not sure what doTERRA do, but certainly the powder that I've been using and had great success with is by the Clay Cure. So it's a clay-based powder, and you can get so many different flavors. So I like the fennel flavor, but there's also, I think there's
is it peppermint? Is it?
There's a peppermint, I think there's spearmint and lemon. There's a whole host of different flavors. So you can get a minty one if you really like a minty one, but you can get other flavors too. There's I think it's myrrh that I've also tried too. It took me a wee bit to get used to the flavor, but it eventually was fine, and I didn't think that it was a bizarre taste any longer. I got used to it. So yeah, you can do lots of different things. It'll have lots of different flavors for it, so it makes it easy to find one that you like. And I just got it online, so yeah, you can just Google it and come up with somewhere that does the clay cure, and you just get a little pot of it.
Right.
It's really easy, and I just actually pinch some and then put it, and I quite like actually rubbing it into my gums. I've got a bit of receding gum on one side, so I actually sit and I rub it into my receding gums, and my gums starting to be a bit better now, and then I'll just take my toothbrush around and brush those.
So you put it on your teeth first and then brush?
Yeah, so I mean, you could use a little spoon or something to take it out the pot and then pop it in your mouth, but I just find it easy sticking my fingers in and just pinching, and then it means it's stuck on my fingers, so I just rub it into my gums, and especially the bit that I've got receding gums with it, just to get the minerals into that area in a little bit of a higher density, and I find it's really helping, and the sensitivity is starting to disappear on the bit of the teeth that are actually exposed because of the receding gums. So my teeth have been a lot better. I was actually just looking in the mirror today because I've got this little kind of crack in one of my front ones, and I was like, I can't see it at all now. It's gone. I mean, I know it's still there, but you can't see it because of the minerals started to build up, so the enamel looks a lot more solid now. So yeah, we're coming up to about 4 months of use with it, so my teeth are a lot better. Yeah.
I use it too, but I initially used, because it says take about 1/4 of a teaspoon.
Yeah.
And a teaspoon was too small, because when I wet my toothbrush and put it on it, it sent the powder everywhere. So I then got a dessert spoon, but I put a teaspoon, 1/4 of a teaspoon amount, and that gave me more space with my toothbrush to mix it. So if you are going to do it, don't use a teaspoon, because it goes everywhere.
I just put it straight in my mouth, so it just gets mixed as I start brushing round. So I don't mix it first with my toothbrush.
I do.
Straight in my mouth.
Oh, right, okay. Because I've got a chip in the front of my tooth, which I've had it happens every so often. And I know that the last time, it's about a year ago now, when they had to like sort of cap it again, or they did a filling on it, and less than a month later, the filling came back out again.
Wow.
So there is like a weakness there, but I don't want to go just now, because obviously everything's, in fact, it's been chipped for a while. I think it was after the last, so I was due to go in June, so it was probably like 2 months after I'd been that happened just before lockdown, and I never went back because I think what she's going to have to do, she's going to have to do something, because I think she's worried if she files it down anymore, there's not going to be much left. So I
You
just
want to
thought, well,
preserve
do you know
what you've got.
Yeah. I went through root treatment last, just this year. Yeah, just this year I had root treatment, or the end of last year. So on a tooth, which I was all for getting the tooth out, but she convinced me to get root treatment, because when she tried to take it out, it was just horrific. So I've still got the tooth, but I just think I've gone on to like fluoride-free toothpaste, which has definitely helped the sensitivity, because it was really bad. But
yeah,
no, so that's fine. And I've
the
bought
best thing for building up the enamel is the mineral based,
the mineral
clay
based.
yeah, the
Right.
clay based
I'll try that.
toothpaste.
Yeah.
I think you could do a mix between like the powder and just a normal, not a normal, because I always use fluoride free, but because I've noticed after we've been talking about it, the doTERRA toothpaste does have glycerin in it.
Yeah.
So I suppose if you use both, though, it's going to counteract, isn't it? It's not going to.
I would probably say if you're going to use both of them, you want to not do them both in the same day, because
the other day or something.
Yeah, when you use the one with the glycerin in, the glycerin coats the teeth, so it stops the minerals going back into the enamel from the saliva or anything else that's in the mouth. So yeah, if you used one for one day, and then actually you'd get 2 consecutive brushes with the tooth powder to replace some of the minerals. So you would be adding the minerals in, but every day that you would use the one with the glycerin in, you'd just know that you weren't going to be adding into the mineral content and building up the enamel again. So if you were doing it because you felt you had weak teeth, or you were wanting to try and hold on to a tooth for longer, and you wanted to quite rapidly or as fast as possible build up the enamel again and the mineral concentration, you want to use it full time for that period. But then you could, for me, like I have a couple of tubes of toothpaste that also have glycerin in them that I've kept, and I'm like, oh, well, I don't want to get rid of them, so I might like let this build up a bit and feel like my teeth are better, and then there might be the odd day that I actually use the glycerin containing toothpaste. I'm not one for throwing anything out.
No.
Not using things and just binning it. So I will use it at some point, but yeah, I'm still very conscious that when the glycerin's used, you will get that coating on the teeth, so you're not adding anything back in the mineral content. I would probably do day on, day off. Make sure you get like 2 consecutive brushes with tooth powder, and then you're back to the glycerin containing toothpaste.
It also leaves your mouth feeling very clean.
Yeah.
And even by the time you get to the evening, if you've done it in the morning, your teeth don't really feel like they need a clean. It's amazing. It leaves your teeth really clean.
Yeah, it just stops the build-up because you're changing the pH. So your mouth isn't as acidic, so it doesn't build up the same kind of fur on the teeth with any of the bacteria or the plaque. So by changing the pH and then having the high mineral content, it stops that build-up. So yeah, if you do use both, let me know how you get on and see what the difference is from the tooth powder clay-based day to the other toothpaste with the glycerin in it. Yeah, could be interesting.
I did actually, I did find a tooth powder, because I couldn't remember the name of the company, the brand that you had used. I'm just trying to have a look. I don't think I've still got, and amongst my thousands of tabs, is this it here? Toothpaste. Have you heard of that?
I've heard of that, yes.
Yeah, do you
I've
know
not
that?
used it, but I have heard of it, yeah. Yeah.
They do
I think it's more charcoal based though, is it not, the toothpaste? I think it's more charcoal based, which is great for drawing toxins out. So charcoal's a binder, so it will bind things up. But certainly the clay cure has the high mineral content. So if you're just using it to draw out toxins, similarly if you were doing like an oil pool or something with some coconut oil, that would be a great way to bind up and draw out some of the toxins from the gums and the tongue, with it being charcoal based. But if you definitely want to add the minerals back into the teeth, you want a high mineral clay based tooth powder. Yeah.
I think the Clay Cure also do one that's charcoal based.
They do. Yeah.
I think. Well.
Yeah.
What I've been doing is I've been putting a drop of peppermint on my toothbrush, and then obviously like the Allodine, like the fluoride free stuff, when I've been cleaning my teeth morning and night, because Fiona, that was on the other week there, she had suggested that a couple of, I think it was maybe the first call that we did. So I've been doing that. I do it every morning. Sometimes I don't do it at night. I just use toothpaste. But I noticed that the thing you shared yesterday, because I bought coconut oil yesterday, because I thought I'll try the pooling, but I don't know about. I've not tried it. But Kirsty shared something last night, and it was about putting a drop of copaiba on your toothbrush as well, and with the actual, well, not on your toothbrush, with the actual coconut oil.
All right.
When you're doing the pooling.
Doing the oil pooling, yeah, nice. Do a little bit more of like a targeted oil pool for particular things by adding different oils into the coconut oil.
So I might try that.
I found the oil pulling quite hard to begin with,
Well,
because
that's what I'm thinking.
I felt like I was almost gagging with the oil. But you do actually get used to it. It's worth persevering with it.
Were you using too much?
No, I don't think so. I was only using a little bit on a dessert spoon.
Okay.
But I just felt
it is that oily feeling.
Yeah. You know, I do sometimes eat coconut oil though now. So it couldn't have been that bad, because I do eat it. If there's some on a spoon.
Often as well, initially, it's always the thought of it as well, and you've already kind of psyched yourself up to, oh my God, I'm putting oil in my mouth, what am I doing? So before it's even gone in your mouth, you're already thinking it's going to be awful. Yeah, absolutely. And the more negative you think about the experience and how it's going to be, the worse it's going to be.
I know.
So like you were saying, the more you do it, the more you get used to it, and you realise that it's not that bad, and it's only for what, like 10, 15 minutes.
I don't know if I can do that long.
No, you have to build up to that. I did it only for like a couple of minutes
small.
to begin with. Start low. You know, 10 minutes is a lot to do. So even if you only do a couple of minutes or a minute to begin with, at least it's better than nothing.
Do it that way.
Build up.
That's true.
Ideal. Oh, we're all going to be trying some really amazing things with all our oils.
Try it. It's just like when I see them advertise, well, not advertising, but when I see them going on about like the COVID tests and things like that, and them saying, oh, it's perfectly fine, and I think I had that done to me last year when I had to go to ear, nose and throat, because they thought my sinuses were the problem, and it was actually my tooth that was the problem. And they had this, you know, like the camera up and down, and it was just like, and like you're saying for the oil pulling, I was actually like, I psyched myself up so much the first time, and the doctor that did it, he wasn't the best. Whereas the next time I went back and had to do it a second time, just to make sure, the doctor the second time was so lovely. It just, you know, like the first time I had a nurse holding my hand at the age of like 50, I was sitting crying, and I was like, a nightmare, but no, so I'm going to try the oil pulling.
Yeah, definitely
not
want
as
to
bad
use
as
your
you
mind-gut connection there. Chill
What's
everything out first. So you definitely want to use your mind-gut connection and calm everything down first, and then
I'll wait to try my tropics facial stuff first.
Lovely. Do some deep belly breathing.
That's something I was. Sorry, on you go.
I'll put some calming oils in my diffuser as well.
I was going to ask Kirsty, what oil should I be rubbing on my gut, Kirsty, to stop me eating so much chocolate? Because, you know, the message is going up from here. More chocolate, please. So I've got an oil that works.
Smart and sassy.
The smart and sassy, which is metabolic blend, but grapefruit as well. can help
Right.
with cravings, and also cinnamon I've heard as
Okay.
well, because it has a kind of sweetness.
Mhm.
Also kind of mint oils as well,
Right.
because you know, even if you did like a mouth rinse with a mint oil, because you know what it's like after you've brushed your teeth when your mouth kind of
Clean.
minty fresh, you don't want to see it, do you?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm. All right, I might try that.
You might think you've had some matchmakers.
I know. Oh, yippity doo dah. Anyway, that was great. I'm definitely going to get my oils out. Definitely.
Yeah, good.
Mhm.
Enjoy.
Yeah, I will do. That was
I've been
lovely.
using the Smart and Sassy with lemon, because I ran out of wild orange, because that's quite a nice one. So I've been using lemon. So I think this morning every day I put different amounts of drops in. So I think it was like 4 drops of Smart and Sassy and 4 of like lemon. And it's quite nice. Sometimes it's a bit strong, I think, but
I was
other
going to
times
say, I
it's...
don't think you would need to use as much as that.
No, probably not. I just kind of kept going with it. I didn't do that with the peppermint though.
No, definitely not.
That would be a bit of a nightmare.
Yeah.
Well,
So thank you very much.
Thank
yes,
you.
that was
Yeah,
really good.
good.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it too.
Yeah.
Thank you for joining, and
Good
thank
to
you.
hear about
too.
oils. Yeah, it's great.
Excellent. Oh, let me know the link and I'll post it out to everybody. So if anyone wants to watch, they can.
I will do.
Okay.
Thank
Well,
you.
Thank
again,
you very
Bye,
much.
everybody.
Bye, Vanessa.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Take
Bye.
care.
Sleep well.
Thank
You
you.
too.
Bye.